This Sunday, our Dharma talks were on the elusive Moola Bandha. So we're continuing our studies, the science of yoga, and we've woven around from silence to breath and prana to holding our prana with our bandhas, Uddiyana Bandha and now Moola Bandha. And I've been reading from this old book that I always have my trainees read, but I really think it's a good book for anyone who is really steeped in their yoga practice and wants to understand and be a little more inspired or excited about their yoga locks, which are important for us well beyond just sitting on our mats and doing our yoga practice. It's called Moola Bandha, the Master Key, and if you look below, we have the author, and you can get this on Amazon, most bookstores. And I highly recommend it because it really goes through the science and also some of the understanding of the energy and spirituality of this really important region of our body and the importance of keeping it toned and being able to contract and utilize these pelvic floor muscles, the perineal muscles. And specifically this week we looked at how it influences our autonomic nervous system. And I had asked the students a question, which part of the nervous system do you think that Moola Bandha stimulates? The sympathetic fight or flight or the parasympathetic rest and digest? And it's kind of a trick question, but of course people answered sympathetic because we are contracting and engaging this muscle. It seems like we're ready. But if you do Moola Bandha, on Sunday we did 5 minutes of Moola Bandha exercises. What you'll find is by lifting the pelvic floor and contracting these muscles, you actually stimulate the parasympathetic and it overrides the sympathetic nervous system. So it is one of the reasons why the science of yoga, why we leave our yoga practice after 20 minutes, an hour and a half, and feeling very chill, feeling very peaceful, feeling very calm. It's one of the things that activates this powerful, important ability of ours to stay connected to and be able to modulate into our parasympathetic nervous system. So on Sunday, I got to talk about something that's really important to me, which is how often I think we are in our sympathetic nervous system without realizing it. And I gave a great example. You have to watch the whole Dharma talk to get the whole example of just taking one of my students that I love dearly and using her and her work situation as example and being in her fight or flight in order to do a good job, which is fabulous. We need that. Our sympathetic nervous system serves us. But the problem being that we're then finished with that job and we're not letting go of that intense feeling. And then we're driving in our cars home and we're holding on to that stress. We're going home and eating our food and we're trying to do something that is parasympathetic, digest, while we're stressed, and it's creating problems in our gut, in our digestive system. And then we're going to bed at night and we wonder why we can't fall asleep, but it's because we're still thinking about that thing that happened at work that we didn't let go of right after it was finished. And so I was just kind of talked about how pervasive that is in our culture and in our lives and how important it is to have practices and to have ways of releasing and letting go and having a strong connection to our vagus nerve, having a strong connection to our parasympathetic response. So join me for conference and in this week, focusing on toning and strengthening your perineal muscles for many, many reasons, but this week in particular on being able to be chill.